So we're going to take a look at angles and radian measure. In this lesson, you're going to expand your study of angles to include angles with measures that can be any real numbers. So angles in standard position, that's when in a coordinate plane, an angle can be formed by fixing one ray, called the initial side, and rotating the other ray, called the terminal side, about the vertex. So it says that an angle is in standard position when its vertex is at the origin, and its initial side lies on the positive x-axis. So for example, we have the initial side here. Okay, so this is our initial side. And then we rotate the other ray, and so it ends up right here, and this is called our terminal side. It's where it ends. Okay, terminal side. The vertex is at the origin. Okay, that's what this is saying. And so just to review, let's take a look at the degrees here. So this is 0 degrees at the top, that is 90 degrees, then that is 180 degrees, 270, and then 360 degrees, right? A full circle. The measure of an angle is positive when the rotation of its terminal side is counterclockwise. Okay, so it's going in this direction, counterclockwise. So in this way, it's positive. And it's negative when the rotation is clockwise. Okay, so when we're going this way. The terminal side of an angle can rotate more than 360 degrees. Okay, so it's important to know that. So let's practice. Drawing angles in standard position. Draw an angle with the given measure in standard position. So 240 degrees. So what's helpful is, for a while, as you're getting used to this is 0, this is 90, this is 180, and this is 270 degrees. So 240, well, number one, we have to put the initial side here, and then we can figure out it stops here, okay, somewhere in quadrant 3. And so this is how you draw the angle, right? And then just a little bit more information on that is that we need to know how far past the 180 does it go. So we know that 240 minus 180, well, that is 60 degrees. Okay, so that's 60 degrees past the negative x-axis. Okay, so again, this is the positive x-axis, right? The positive values here, and this is negative on this side. Then let's look at B, 500 degrees. So we need to figure out how far is that going to go and what quadrant is it going to lie on. So how can you figure it out? Well, you just take 500 degrees. You know that one whole rotation is 360, so you subtract 360 degrees, and so you're going to end up with 140 degrees, and that's in quadrant 2. So how you do this is you have to draw the initial side, and you know it goes all the way around to 360, and you know it's going to stop at the 140, which is somewhere in here. Okay, so you show the rotation, how many times it rotates, by drawing this, I guess, this directional arrow here. And so this is 500 degrees, but it ends up being 140 degrees, right, past the positive x-axis. So letter C, negative 50 degrees. So negative 50, that's going to rotate the other direction. It's going to go clockwise this way. So if this is 0 degrees and this is negative 90 degrees, this is negative 180 and so forth, then negative 50 degrees will be somewhere in here, just past halfway. So that is negative 50 degrees, okay? So go ahead and try these three, pause the video, and when you come back, the answers will be here. Okay, so hopefully you tried it out. So if you tried number 2, 300 degrees, that it looks like here, and it ends in quadrant 4. Negative 120 degrees, so it ends in quadrant 3, but you go clockwise for negative. Then negative 450, that also goes clockwise, but it stops at negative 90 degrees, right? And so that is negative 450. So again, when you're doing this for like a quiz or a test, make sure that you're drawing which way the angle rotates and where it terminates. So let's try, let's look at another thing. So in example 1b, the angles 500 and 140 are coterminal. So 500, so looking here, this is 500 degrees, and then 140. So notice where it ends. So in example 1, they are coterminal, so important to know that, coterminal, because their terminal sides coincide. They end at the same exact place. So an angle coterminal with a given angle can be found by adding or subtracting multiples of 360 degrees, right? One full rotation. So what we're going to do is find one positive angle and one negative angle that are coterminal with negative 45 and 395 degrees. So we have negative 45 here, and then we also have 395 here. So how do you do that? Well, negative 45 degrees, so what we can do is we're going to go ahead and add 360 degrees to the negative 45, and that'll give us a positive value. Okay, so negative 45 plus 360, that equals 315 degrees. Okay, so let's draw the negative 45 degrees first. Negative 45 is here, it's halfway. Okay, and it goes negative, so it goes clockwise, negative 45. And then positive 315 degrees, well, that's going to rotate this way, and it ends here, still in the same exact spot. Okay, then we need to find a negative angle. So what we're going to do is take that negative 45 degrees, and instead we're going to subtract 360 degrees. So when you subtract, you're going to get negative 405 degrees. So to show that, you're going to still start at this initial side here, then you're going to rotate clockwise and go past and stop there. So that is negative 405 degrees. They're all coterminal. They all end at the same exact spot. So now 395 degrees. So what we want to do is we want to subtract 360 degrees, and so we are left with 35 degrees. So we want, that's our positive one, right? We were asking, it's asking for one positive angle and one negative angle, so we subtracted one 360. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the negative value, we're just going to take 35 degrees and subtract another 360, or another way to think about that is you're taking 395 minus 2 times 360, right? We're just subtracting it twice. So that's why it says subtracting multiples of 360. So that's 395 minus 720. So that gives you negative 325 degrees. Okay, so just to, for now, let's just graph that. So we have 395 degrees. That's going to be, we know that's going to end in quadrant 1. And the initial side is here, so 395 degrees is there. 35 degrees just goes up to that same exact spot, right? And then negative 325 degrees, that just goes the other direction, right? So from here, you're going around, and then that is 325 degrees. Okay, so go ahead and try these four here. We don't need to draw the angles anymore. I just want you to find mathematically the positive, one positive and one negative angle by adding or subtracting multiples of 360. So hopefully you tried this out. And so if you tried 80 degrees, you would get something like 440 or negative 280. For 230, you add 360, you get 590, and you subtract 360 from 230, you get negative 130. And for 7, you could get 280 degrees or even 20 degrees, depending on how much you add or subtract. Sorry, that's 380 degrees. Let me correct that. 380, not 280. And then you could get negative 340. And then number 8, you can get 225 and negative 495. Now you could get other multiples of that as well, depending on how much you add or subtract. Okay, so just know that it depends on how much you add or subtract to it.